Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. She is a psychic medium, connects with people on the other side. And last time we got together with Leah, we were talking about signs and symbols and things that show up. And a lot has shown up since the last time we got together. We just started talking about this before we jumped in here, but I don't even know. How are you, by the way?
I'm very well. Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Freaky stuff happening in the last week. And I guess we should recap and share some of this stuff because it is, I want to say it's blowing my mind, but it's not because it doesn't surprise me anymore. And we started talking about getting signs from those who have passed over. I talked about, I get signs from my mom all the time who passed 4 years ago. I gave an example of the Wi-Fi password that was assigned by the cable company, random. Now, I was vibing her, asking for signs from her. This is like 2 weeks ago. And the password is 4 digits. It's right on the wall. I have it on the wall to remind me what the password is. Right. 4 digits dash Rose, her name, dash 2 digits. And then we had somebody reach out to us, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. And she was talking about seeing chargers all the time, and her dad's car was a charger. She just turns her head. There's another. Her husband. I'm sorry.
Her husband. Passed. Yep.
And they just randomly come up, and more now than ever. And she asked, do you think it's a sign? So you answered both. You answered yes for both my mom and her. And then I'm going to throw the ball to you to talk about what transpired after that. Personally, I guess.
Yes. So interesting enough, people ask me about signs all the time because everyone would like a sign from their loved one, right? But when we were on our show last week, we were speaking about my husband who passed tragically, and it happened to be his birthday, and how a reading coincided with his passing. And after the show, I was thinking, wow, we had so many signs. And it occurred to me after the show that last week was the woman who called in about her husband passing and seeing chargers. I realized my husband who had passed away, his midlife crisis car was a charger, and I made fun of him constantly for it because, it was kind of comical. So that came up. And also I realized your mother's name, Rose, was his grandmother, who I knew as well, who was his dad's mom, all of whom have passed on. It couldn't have gotten any better. Then 2 days later, my oldest son, came over to talk to me, and we were sitting inside my garage having a conversation about all the signs I had gotten from his dad. And out of the blue, a butterfly flew in, which was the sign I have for my in-laws who have passed away, directly right onto my hand as I was telling him. And he's a non-believer, so he was kind of blown away himself. It was insane. And then 2 days ago was the anniversary of his passing, which was also our wedding anniversary, which most people don't understand. And my light on my bedroom stand was flicking on and off in the middle of the evening. It doesn't even work most times. It woke me up because the bright light was going on. And I looked at the time on my phone, and it happened to be 3:03, which was my husband's badge number as a fireman. So he was just trying to come through and tell everybody, like, the signs are all there for just aware and ready for them,
So if somebody's skeptical, how do you punch a hole in that? But I'm going to start a little bit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe things happen for a reason. So, the Rose thing connecting with you,
how many names did we have?
I know,
four names, right?
Yeah, exactly. The Charger, could have been a Mustang, could have been. And that is what came up with somebody out asking about her husband, right? So, we could call it a coincidence, but very specific. I don't believe any of, that it's anything but a sign. Right. Butterfly, That's a little generic. However,
Yep.
butterflies
Yep.
don't all just land on you. It's very rare. It doesn't happen all the time.
It's only happened to me twice in my whole life. And once I asked for it, and it happened with my other son. And my in-laws came in for him, and I was in Arizona, and I had two land on me while I was with him. And I had asked for it the week prior.
And that's
only other time.
That's it. You asked for it. Like I asked for the sign from my mom and her name came up, and that's just one of many. I mean, I said I could go on forever. And if you heard them, even as a medium, you probably would say, what? Because they're so bizarrely specific. And what is this? Is there a significance to the butterfly for you?
The significance to the butterfly for me is two things. So one is the fact that it metamorphoses into this beautiful butterfly from a caterpillar, right? It's all about growth and renewal and starting over, which is kind of when we pass away. We're starting a whole new life on the other side, and we're still here. So it's metamorphosis and transformation and beautiful. Like butterflies are absolutely gorgeous, right? The other thing is I made the sign of the butterfly because it's so beautiful as a sign for my in-laws who have passed, and they've come in shining in the last 2 weeks, and I just can't, kind of blew my mind as well.
And we look at the butterfly. Okay, that could be, people
could anything.
Skeptics could say, you're looking for it. Come on. However, it was at the moment you were talking to your son who doesn't believe in any of this kind of stuff.
Correct.
The butterfly shows up. Oh, let me add,
not only did it show up, it like zoomed in and came onto my hand while I was sitting down and did not leave for 5 minutes.
And he witnessed it. He witnessed it.
Witnessed it. And he calls me Mahatma Gandhi, thinks it's funny.
It's not like you're saying it. He saw it. But I want to add to that. And I think it's very impactful in that we're almost at the end of October. Call it mid-October when it happened. Okay. You're in the Northeast.
Freezing today.
Cold. I'm lucky if I see a butterfly in the middle of August. And the only time I really ever see them is if somebody has planted flowers that they like to be around. Short of that, I never really see them. And I'm in the Northeast too. I'm not, okay. I'm like maybe if you include a ferry ride, maybe an hour and a half drive from where you are. I don't see them. Oh. So this is the fact that the butterfly came by, landed, stayed at that moment. It was almost to your son, hello, I'm trying to tell you something over here.
Yeah. He listened a little bit, but
yeah,
he's still a skeptic. I think he's just some people that are skeptic. You asked me about that before. I think more of it is a little bit of fear. We see all these things on TV. We think all these evil things are going to happen. So we don't take it as a sign of love and amazement and a miracle. It's, oh no, so I'm going to mock it because I'm afraid of it. And, that's okay.
My son's the same exact way. He's 17 and a half. He is very logical. He wants to work for the FBI as a profiler, that kind of stuff where, facts. And I'm fact-based too. I really am.
Can I tell you, there's a very famous medium who I love and I've taken classes from who was a profiler for the FBI in out West. And she even had a TV show on it, and she's amazing. So they used her quietly in the background to help them solve cases. So
yeah, because they wouldn't come out and say, we're using a medium to help us solve FBI, international case. No. And I get it because it might tarnish their reputation. But it's also for the same reason when you look at it, we're talking, this is energy. There's always energy flowing. We're energy. I believe that those who pass are energy. That being said, there's a reason that some hospitals have Reiki practitioners, the doctors before surgery and the patients before surgery, just because they want positive energy around. They don't really talk about it a lot. Insurance companies usually don't allow it because they don't want somebody else in the surgery suite, i.e. a Reiki practitioner. but they do it because they believe it. Same thing, the FBI. So I believe in it. Everything here is, again, I'm not surprised. I'm a little surprised, but I'm not. It's like, it's another great sign coming through, and things happen for a reason. The Charger thing came up from somebody else, and maybe that was something for you as well.
Oh, how could it not be?
Yeah.
The one person that called in is about a Charger, so I just thought that was
it's random. It's random, but it's not. But
could
it's
have been
not.
a Volkswagen Bug, something.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. Right. And husband and her husband.
Correct.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Wow. So
it's ironic. It's ironic people, the stigma behind all of this is part of the reason I did not come out as, if you want to say, come out of the closet as a child and as a teen. What I would do if I thought something was going to happen to somebody or had a premonition, I just used my dreams as a nice cover. So I would say, oh, I had a dream of your dad. I think it was your dad, and he's really cool, and he wore this shirt all the time. And my friends would be like, oh my God, sounds like my dad. And I'd be able to kind of, because dreams are more of an accepted tool than me just pulling something out of the air, which is really not pulling it out of the air. It's just focusing on that radio station like we talked about. And there's just such a stigma behind it. If people can connect to their own loved ones if they just give it a chance.
And be open and
Yeah.
block out the stuff around them, because it could be a very insignificant sign that they're getting, but because they're got so much going on, you're not going to see it.
Right. Right.
People tell me, if you believe in numerology, that the number 11 is a great number. Correct. And my life path number is 11. If you take my name, and 11 always has been showing up in my journey of the last 3 years all the time.
Beautiful. And 11 is, right? The reason why 11 is important. It's like the gates of heaven.
So funny. With the number 11. And I mean, it's even those numbers from the password that I shared with you about my mom. When I take those numbers and put them together, they all come to a 7 or 11, but move that aside. So yesterday I moved my stuff out of a storage shed, and somebody because I'm paying, a monthly fee, and I'm in between houses. Somebody I'm connected to through work gave me a storage shed.
Oh.
And small one, but perfect, no charge. Woo, win. And it was number 38. And if you take and this is the way numerology works,
11.
11.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, great, thanks.
Everything's in a line. Everything's lining up for you. That's perfect. That's
even
the way
if
it's supposed to be.
I moved a year ago in my transitional journey, and if you take all the numbers on my address, there's 3 numbers, and add them up, it's 11. I didn't pick it. They gave it to me. It's like, so
that's so great.
Does it mean something? I think it does. To somebody else, maybe not. But if you're aware of those things, why does it always come up? And you have to be mindful of it. Add the numbers, look deeper into it. So you also do card readings as well, right? I
do. And I pulled some cards for you this morning before we started, just to get a handle on where you were today. Interesting enough, as you just said that you were in the process of moving, and your card for the day is to start taking some action, like now. And it's about time to step into whatever you need to step in, because I feel like somebody is helping you. You got a leg up with some things, and you need to start taking your action, but you have to do it pretty soon. You also have a major arcana card. So I read 2 different kinds of cards all the time. And
is it Oracle and Tarot?
Yes, both.
Okay.
Which are usually they're spot on. I can't even say 90% of the time, 100% of the time. And yours says you really need to start taking action on whatever you've got going on. It's a good time to just begin and get it going, and you'll be able to step forward with yourself and take a little journey here.
So I've been working on slide business, little idea.
Ah,
And I haven't done it. I just started really now, call it started. Like, but it's been bubbling under for years. Things got in the
time.
way. Um, yeah, and I feel it. And I've always felt, yeah, this is a good idea. This is a good idea inside, but I haven't really pushed it forward.
Yep, it's time. And but the cards are also showing me that it's like walking off a ledge. Just have the faith and go ahead. And you might be a little bit naive and not have all the pieces together at the moment, but you'll get them. It's just a matter of having the faith and stepping forward and let them fall in place, just like your numbers do.
Wow.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, it's going
Again,
to be great.
I'm not looking into it, but it sounds reasonable at this moment, what you're saying. And you don't know that I was, working on something, and
No,
it's
I just pulled them this morning. I just asked for your energy and what was going on with you. And those are the cards that I got. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Very,
Hmm.
very cool.
So how does that work? You pull 3 cards. Is it 3? I don't even know.
I do pull 3. Sometimes when I do extensive readings, I have 10 or
Wow.
16 cards, depending on who I'm reading for and how long we want to go or what kind of questions they have. My 3-card pull is if I'm doing something really fast for somebody, but it's also something I do before a mediumship reading as well, because the cards are a physical tool for the non-physical. So a lot of people will place more value on the cards than they will a mediumship reading because it's an actual thing, right? It's a material item. So people who are logic, like your son or my son, they can look at the card and say, okay, that's a physical thing. So I can actually wrap my head around it. She's telling me something about stepping forward. What does she know? Right. So
Right.
that's the skeptical person. But the cards give you a physical aspect of the non-physical. And what people don't realize is everything is energy, right? So I was reading your energy before we started with the cards. I had a physical aspect I just pulled, which helps me tune into your energy and what's going on in your life.
Wow. How, in terms of your opinion of doing this for a while, the accuracy of the cards?
100%. 100%. And they're so helpful. So if I'm having a day where I'm having difficulty connecting, or the connection is a little bit wavered for whatever reason, or the person sitting in front of me is just has the attitude of this stinks, this doesn't work, even though they're asking me for help. The cards are always spot on. And like I said, they give the skeptic something to hold on to more than just myself.
So and we're just using me as an example to illustrate this. When you say a card came up, or moving forward, do you know what it means in terms of what the moving forward is?
No, I don't. And that's why I said to you, like, you have to take action and start moving forward with whatever that is. Excuse me. But had you sat in front of me and said, I have a question about something I'm planning on doing, I have an idea behind it, can you tell me more about that? Then I would concentrate on that and pull the cards. You'd probably get the same exact ones that you got.
Wow.
But so, yeah, I was able to tell you that without asking you the question because it reads your energy.
And I didn't ask any questions. You just,
No.
that just came up.
Right.
So that's one card that you pulled. That you had 2 others. What did they show?
So when I pull the cards, I have something in my mind. So it's all about your intention, right? So my intention was to read your energy. And my 3-card pull is kind of a past, present, and future, right? So the past was kind of you got a leg up. Somebody was helping you with something. I didn't know what. And the present card is like telling me you need to go right now with it, whatever that is. And then you have a major card, which is kind of tarot tells a story from birth to death in the cards, right? The major arcana. So there's major arcana and minor arcana. And the major ones are very big life happenings. The other minor arcanas are like daily things, right? So your daily card, something that would happen the day, is telling you to take your action, and it's bringing you to a major arcana card. So it's a big life thing, which is stepping forward. So all the cards are pointing to you finally are here. You have the leg up. It's time to step forward and do what you need to do. And I just feel like it's a good thing, but you need to have some faith in it and faith in yourself as well.
Makes sense to me.
And interesting enough, the card that I'm just brought my attention to, the major card, he has a rose in his hand. Yeah, the card is a picture. So I'm just reading the picture, and it just, sometimes the picture pulls things for me to pay attention to. And he has a rose, which I've never even noticed before. So there you go.
Which card is that?
Well, you're going to laugh. It's called the Fool card, but it's not necessarily a fool. The Fool is about being a little bit naive and not having all your ducks in a row, but still stepping forward and having the faith and going on the adventure that you thought that you could do. And it's a creative card. So
this thing that I'm thinking of doing is creative.
There you go.
And
it's time to step forward. And obviously your mom's there saying, go for it, because I just saw the rose.
Yeah. and just to reiterate, these are randomly pulled.
Yeah, you weren't even on mine yet.
Yeah, but it's not like you said, okay, I know his mom's name was Rose, so I'm going to pull a rose card.
No, I just noticed it. Honestly,
right.
I swear to God on my life, I just noticed the rose in the hand because I've never even looked at it before. There's so many details in a card. And sometimes your intuition pulls you to a certain part of it. And that's exactly where I just went talking to you. It's like, oh.
Wow. Are you holding, do you have that card before you?
I can show you.
Yeah, let's see if we can see it. I mean, there is so much detail, and yeah, I see
there's the rose.
There it is. Right. Oh, don't move. I want to see if there's anything else. All right. Don't move, because
promise. If I can make it.
Yeah, no, I got it. It's clear. And I'm going to bring something else to the forefront here.
Okay.
I can't see what the person is holding on the stick.
So it's like a sack. So it's your like you would take a suitcase, okay?
Right, like back in the day, when,
or your backpack.
As you know, like old school, like watching the Little Rascals or something,
like the 1800s. Yeah,
they would say, "I'm out of here," and then it would be a stick with their stuff tied to it or whatever.
Right.
So there's a little white dog. I have a little white dog. I don't know what that means, but what are the chances?
Yeah, well, it's right. What are the chances? There you go. It's funny. I was going to bring that dog in too. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you're just going to like laugh or something I wrote this morning. See the dog and the heart?
Yeah.
I was going to tell you about a dog today that I had in a reading that I got again yesterday, who's the little white Maltese dog. So that was pretty interesting.
So that was part of a reading that you did yesterday for someone?
Yes, I did a reading yesterday, and there's a lot of connection in the background, but apparently I had read for this one spirit prior. Like I said, I don't ask my customers, my clients, anything. So I had read for a person a few months ago, and I brought through her good friend who had passed, and her friend, I also brought her little dog through, and I spoke a lot about the dog. Interesting enough, when I got home that evening, sitting down, my own dog is a 170-pound Great Dane laying on the couch like a big lazy thing, and my son was sitting in front of her. She popped off the couch like out of the blue. She doesn't get up for anything except her food or a walk. She plowed over my son and started chasing something all around the house. Nothing we saw. When
maybe she did.
She saw the dog. It was the dog. I know it was the dog. And my son, who's 17, my younger son, said, "What is she chasing another animal around here?" Like, it was the most bizarre thing. She would not stop until we let her outside. She like chased the dog out. She's jealous. She doesn't like any other animals. And so we were cracking up. Like, all of us saw it and we were kind of like, what is going on here? Fast forward to yesterday. I had a woman who I just had her first name, and I brought in who would have been her sister. And the reading was amazing and beautiful and healing. And her sister came through, shining brightly. And then I got her dog and I was like, wow, this is kind of the same dog I had prior, but I just let it go. And my own dog came into the Zoom room where I meditate and was kind of giving me grumbles, which was interesting at the same time. And then I had texted the girl prior who had the girlfriend who passed, and because she recommended the woman yesterday to come to me. Long story short was she said, oh, did you bring her dog in as well? Because that was my friend. So apparently the lady I read for yesterday that I brought in, her sister, was the same person I had brought in a few months ago with the dog. So that it was like the same spirit. And I had no clue that it was this woman's sister, and she still had her dog with her.
Wow.
So it was just, it was so beautiful, and I was wondering, geez, this went so smooth and wonderful. And so it's because I've already connected with the spirit before.
Do you believe that there's so many different connections? There's so many different chords, if you will. Like there's one over here, everywhere, but we don't realize it. We're afraid to look into it. Like person walking down the street, and you may, stop and say hi or have a 5-second conversation, whatever it might be, but you don't go deeper to ask even their name. Like there's a woman, I'm walking my dog today and I see her, every once in a while she's walking her dog. I've never asked deep, what's your name? Yeah, if she had somebody in where I live, whatever. But something tells me that there's a reason these people show up in our lives. And you won't know
unless you ask.
Yeah.
There's always,
I don't even know her dog's name.
A lesson, right?
I know, I said, how old's your dog? And same age as mine, within like a month. And, she got a really great energy. I don't know. I don't even know the dog's name, but I'll bet you there's something there. I don't think you're not just showing up. And it's like, I walk mine all different times in the morning, whenever, it depends on my schedule. Again, I saw her this morning. She's walking right past my place with her dog.
Oh, it's an opportunity for you to ask.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
That's my point. There's
and
a reason.
It might be something small. It might be something that she says to you that resonates. We always talk about 6 degrees of separation.
Sure.
There's really probably 2.
Yeah.
How many times have you gone somewhere, and I do, and talk to people, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, you know him, and you're
100%.
from California, and how did that happen? And
we just met doing this. Charger Rose.
Right.
With the chances.
Taking your path today.
Yeah. How do we find you, Leah?
You can find me online at mediumleah.com. It's a medium. I'll have to spell it again. It's leah.com. You can get me there, or you can text me at 203-623-8144. And I'm available on Zoom anywhere in the continental US or abroad, on Zoom. And I also have in-persons here and there when I have time.
Yep. I know that if we continue talking and about our histories, connections, whatever, there would be more stuff that would show up.
Yes, definitely.
I don't even doubt it for a second. I know it. It's just, that's a known. I
wouldn't doubt we're going to work together at some point again either.
That
keeps coming up for me for some reason.
Well, I have something in the back of my head that involves all of this idea, and I haven't pushed that one forward, but something says if I could pull it off, it would be that kind of connection. So,
just change your words. It's not if I can pull it off, is I'm going to pull this off.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great thing.
No, you're 100% right there.
Yeah.
It's in my mind, it got other things going on that need attention before I can put the attention there. But wow, fantastic talking with you.
You as well. Thank you again.
Yeah. I'll let you know if I see a butterfly later today.
Oh, awesome.
No, you know what?
Yeah. Or a rose.
I will see that.
Please do. Yes.
Yeah. Just got to be mindful. All right. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.